Okay, let's see if I can make a video in like under an hour, including editing, by the way. I'm gonna start off by talking about something that happened a week ago: Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. So, I don't really have much thoughts about the fight itself. Like, it was never gonna be that good, especially since it looks like Mike Tyson has an injured leg or something. I don't know. But yeah, they coasted to a decision. There was no way Jake Paul was going to knock out Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson, well, he was having fun, I guess. He was pulling his punches though, because guess what? Mike Tyson didn't really want to hurt Jake Paul either. This is a 50 something Mike Tyson. He doesn't want to kill people anymore, even though he was built to destroy. So, lucky Jake Paul. But anyway, if you want to know more about Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, watch this video by Chevy. By the way, this guy, very good storyteller. Go to his channel, binge watch all of his stuff. He's gonna tell you about why, for instance, Frank Ocean is actually a really scary dude. Why Khabib Nurmagomedov is a psychopath. Yeah, why Jake Paul is in trouble now. He's going to really convince you. Watch his video. I'm gonna link it in the description. But yeah, Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. was a lot more fun. That was actually a pretty fun fight between two old men. Now, once again, for a week, disappointed people were going, why are we still watching boxing? I've been seeing that, and that's such a stupid question, if you ask me. Because didn't you watch the undercard? For instance, there was Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. That was a pretty good fight, even though Katie Taylor won via decision and a point got deducted off of her because of a headbutt. I think it was head control. It wasn't really a deliberate headbutt. I still think Amanda Serrano won that fight. And most of that undercard was actually pretty good. Did you watch those fights? Of course not. Of course you don't. You're filthy casual. What about, all other boxers? Like Naoya Inoue, for instance. You have the monster active right now. One of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world right now. You're not watching him? He's like the closest you could get to Ippo Makonochi from Hajime no Ippo. Come on, man. You also have one of the best pound-for-pound boxers in the world right now, Terence Crawford. He's still active. Alexander Usyk, the current world heavyweight champion. Even Canelo Alvarez. Like, do you watch them? No, of course not. No, look, I've seen some other people say, about honor and love for the sport of boxing, or just love of competition. If you really want to fight for honor and dignity, you stay amateur. That's right. You don't go pro, you stay amateur. You should watch some of the best fighters ever in the world. Throughout history, they stayed amateur. Go watch Kyokushin Karate. Those guys are massive badasses. Also, the greatest wrestler in the world right now, Abdul Rashid Sajulayev. Do you watch him wrestle Kyle Schneider? No, of course not. Fighters go professional for the money, and that's it. For instance, Khabib Nurmagomedov, like one of the best MMA fighters ever, perhaps the best wrestler in mixed martial arts ever. That guy's a tax dodger. But what am I yapping about right now? I gotta tell you that circus fights like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, they're not the death of boxing, so shut up. Boxing is dying. It's been dying for 50 years now. Come on. Circus fights have always happened throughout history. They hold up the pedestal upon which the legitimate competition then happened. You gotta make that money. You gotta put butts in seats. You want the legit guys to have their spotlight. You gotta set the stage first. And freak fights like this set the stage. That's what pro wrestling has taught us. That's what a lot of different promotions like Pride Fighting Championship had taught us. That's what Antonio Inoki taught us like 60 years ago. For instance, Joe Louis actually joined the circus because he needed money. He also did Bum of the Month. So for 7 months, he fought one guy every month. And he also fought Two-Ton Tony Galento, one of the greatest characters in boxing, in my opinion. He's around my height, but he fought heavyweight, and look at him. He looks like a guy who really likes his capicola, He looks like he ate a pastrami sandwich before getting into the ring. And also, Joe Louis did exhibition matches throughout the world. Like here he is in Tokyo in 1951. Especially back in the day when professional boxers were fighting like up to 150 fights. Then there's also George Foreman. He fought 5 dudes in one night. He went through a gauntlet. He did that after losing against Muhammad Ali in Rumble in the Jungle to prove that he was still a monster. So he put up this whole thing, hey, I'm gonna fight 5 guys all at once. Muhammad Ali was actually in attendance, and the audience started booing him. Isn't he showing that he's a tough guy? He was showing them he was a bully. And the 5 bums he was fighting looked brave in comparison. So yeah, like it's a very interesting thing, when you see an event like that and the audience turns against the supposed protagonist. It's really interesting, especially as someone from pro wrestling. When I see something like that, it really gets my gears going. Like, wow, that's very interesting. We should study that. And also, there are plenty of other circus fights. Like, for instance, Ultimate Fighting Championship. That was supposedly a circus fight. Antonio Inoki versus Muhammad Ali. That was definitely a circus fight. And the way Antonio Inoki fought that in that fight, well, I guess he was too scared of losing. That's why he developed that strategy of butt scooting while kicking Muhammad Ali in the leg. Perfect strategy against a boxer during that time. But not very exciting, not very fun to watch. In the meantime, I want to show some of the circus fighting that we see nowadays, like Fight Circus. It's a promotion named Fight Circus. It's owned by Full Metal Dojo, which is in itself pretty crazy. Full Metal Dojo's MMA promotion in Thailand, and they do a lot of crazy stuff because Thailand. Also, they got wheelchair boxing, and there's Sanchai and Bob Sapp pushing the wheelchairs. That is funny. And also, there's whatever Russia is doing, like various forms of bare knuckle boxing, card jitsu, which is awesome. I love card jitsu. They were the first ones to really popularize slap fighting, but you know what? I'm not really into slap fighting anymore. It makes me feel guilty. Why did I like that stuff? Oh, because of Vasily Komotsky, the God Hand. But yeah, like power slap is shit. Don't watch that. And there's also Japan. Japan loves their freak fights as well. Ganryujima is you could still call it kind of circus fighting, but it's so theatrical, it's so pretty that it's more like Cirque du Soleil instead of just, the local carnival. I made a video about Ganryujima, by the way, 4 years ago. Check it out if you want to see me yap about old school style versus style fights in Japan. And of course, there's a lot of the YouTube fight clubs, Street Beefs, King of the Streets, Defend Fight Club in Germany, Yacha Club. I gotta make a video about Yacha Club because that thing is awesome. And of course, whatever else fight commentary breakdowns posts on this channel. I'm a big fan of Jerry. But yeah, look at that. There's a lot of circus fighting, and if you really cared about boxing, you'd watch the good fights. Otherwise, why are you lamenting the death of boxing? Nothing's dying, okay? And also, the Saudis are injecting their own money into it as well, so it's livelier than ever. Have you seen those trailers for those fights? Holy crap, that's Hollywood-style production. Hell, that's beyond Hollywood at this point. It's Saudi-style production. But you know what? I get it. You want the grandeur and spectacle of the main events, which still happen. It does still happen. You're just not watching. You're not really a fan. Some of the best fights ever tend to happen in the undercards. Do you watch them? No. You'd be like, nobody's got time for that. Maybe things are just too convenient now. You don't have to tune in. You just go back to sleep, and then you can look at the social media later on to see if it's in your feeds. The highlights. But hey, that's just the reality of professional fighting and just fight promotion in general. This business is pretty mercurial, pretty squirrely. The money makers are what catch the public's attention. In legitimate fighting, superstars like that, who actually will grab your attention and make you cough up your money, they come few and far between. They're generational talent. There are the generational fighting talents that I talked about, like Naoya Inoue and Terence Crawford, but do they put butts in seats? Some of them maybe. If you've never watched one of those fights, well, there you go. Here in the Philippines, we have Manny Pacquiao, and well, Manny's old now, and he's a politician now. He's got it made. What more does he have to do to prove himself? None. He's an 8th division world champion. Would there ever be another boxing superstar like Manny Pacquiao from around here? I don't know. We'll see. No one really gave a shit about all the other boxers. Yeah, sure, they brought world championships, but they hit the same kind of popularity? Not really. A lot of them passed by. Brian Viloria passed by. Like, there are some people who think Nonito Donaire is actually an asshole. I don't get it. Maybe because he's Phil-Am. I don't know. But hey, I get it. Filipinos are natural haters. They're natural assholes and self-loathers and hecklers. So boxers not named Manny Pacquiao get shit on. For instance, when Marlon Tapales fought Naoya Inoue, well, the Facebook comments were harsh on Marlon Tapales. Like, the phrase crab mentality gets thrown around a lot, and can't blame you if you think that's what we are. And that was crab mentality. But hey, Filipinos care more about other stuff like beauty pageants and K-pop. I don't like K-pop, turns me off. Although I get it sometimes. They do make tons of money, they do make hits, and every now and then a K-pop song will be stuck in my head. So even I get caught sometimes, That was stuck in my head for like 2 weeks. Yeah, But unfortunately, this is gonna be a continuing problem for boxing and professional fighting in general, because most professional fighters suck at promoting themselves. Because, well, think about it. When you're coming up the ranks, when you're training and trying to become a good fighter, a big part of it is being stoic. And stoicism isn't very good for self-promotion. A lot of people like to think that, yeah, I like the humble, hardworking fighter. No, you don't. You want them humble and hardworking, yet at the very least know how to talk. That's a rare skill, being able to be a really good fighter and having a mouth at the same time, and having good looks, having charisma. That's rare. Muhammad Ali, someone like that, once in a generation, once in several generations even. Conor McGregor, well, Conor McGregor's his superpowers are gone. Again, I'm gonna reference Chevy here. He has a video. I talked about this video about Khabib Nurmagomedov being a psychopath, right? Well, there's this video about Khabib, Khabib the Unstable, how Conor McGregor got his career ruined by a psychopath. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Conor McGregor is more of a psychopath than Khabib. Come on. He attacked that bus. Jeez. Who does that? Is he an IRA terrorist? He is a rapist. We know that now. Show you another video from Chevy. Why Mike Tyson bit a man's ear off. This is really good. One of the best explanations as to why Mike Tyson did what he did. Why was he doing it? Evander Holyfield was headbutting him. That's about it. Yeah, go to Chevy's channel. Subscribe. He's a really good storyteller. I gotta get some of that mojo. Hey, that's why I'm making these videos, I'm trying to get good too. Subscribe. Motivate me to make more of these. Nowadays, you have the UFC merged with WWE. When John Jones fought last week, he wasn't just talking about Uncle Dana, he was also talking about Uncle Hunter, Triple H. TKO is one hell of a force right now because they have acknowledged the relationship between professional fighting, legit fighting, in pro wrestling parlance, shoot fighting, and pro wrestling, merging together in one entity. We've come far, yeah. And professional fighters are trying to become more like professional wrestlers, although with mixed success. Some of them aren't very good at it. Yeah. You couldn't live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to pro wrestling. Anyway, that's all for now. Till next time, stay Tor. I'm sure this is not healthy at all, but hey, I'm hungry. Okay, it's 180 time. I'm actually disappointed. Out the pool. Stay Tor.